Hello, and thank you for joining us today for a day in the life of a marketing professional. We're going to be taking a look at Dynamics 365 customer engagement. For our time today, just a brief agenda. We're going to start off with some introductions of the presenters. I've got a brief overview of the topics that we're going to be taking a look at during the live demo, and we'll actually spend the majority of our time actually in a live look in the software. And then we'll wrap up with a couple of slides to talk about some pricing. So my name is Jonathan Kroll. I'll be the host today, and we also have Matt Fonts, who is the demo specialist. Matt is our director of consulting services, and I'm an account executive here. And we definitely appreciate you taking some time out of your day to join us to take a look at Dynamics 365. So just to talk a little bit about what our topics for the agenda are today. Oh, actually, sorry, I want to do a quick plug for our upcoming conference. This is going to be in April 26th, actually. So this is our annual user conference, and we're going to have two different tracks, one for Dynamics GP and then another for the Dynamics 365, the CRM or the customer engagement application, so your sales and customer service modules. We definitely welcome everybody to check out our website there to find out more information, and we would definitely love for you to attend and meet you in person at our conference. So to go back to our topics for the day, so we're doing a series of day in the life, and today's the day in the life of a marketing professional, so we're going to be taking a look at lead generation, working with marketing campaigns. We're also going to have two more parts of the series. One's going to be a day in the life of a sales professional to cover opportunity and account management, also product catalogs, quotes, other areas of the sales solution. And then we'll also have one for day in the life of a customer service representative to talk about service contracts, case management, case resolution, and those things. So we hope that you tune back in for those additional parts of our series. Today we're going to focus on the marketing professional, and just to dive deeper on the agenda for this, I'm going to start off with looking at mobile marketing. We'll actually show you the Dynamics 365 mobile app and how there's an integration with Outlook that you can also use from your phone. Then we'll take a look at working in the web app. So we'll do some marketing qualification or producing a marketing qualified lead, which then turns into a sales handoff for the sales team to further pursue, which would be part 2 of our series, right? And then we'll finish up just looking at some marketing automation options, specifically around campaign automation, with a nice tool that's available. Now with that said, I'll pause to see if there are any questions that have come in. I don't see anything just yet. So without further ado, we'll go ahead to the live demo and give Matt the presenter. And I can see your screen, Matt, so you're good to go.
All right, thank you, Jonathan. Let me just start out by saying this is a live demo, so some things will sometimes be a little laggy or slow, but this is always my preference is to show what the product actually looks like. My name is Matt Fonts, and I'm like Jonathan said, I'm the Director of Consulting Services here at Interdyne, but I've been a consultant here for around 12 years, and I've got a good bit of background with CRM. I've been implementing it since version 1.2, so I've seen it at its worst, and I've really seen it develop over the years, and it's very exciting to see what the product's developed into, and it's very mature and well established. So like Jonathan said, really there's 3 different demo scenes that we're going to go through, and the first one and the second one are both relatively simple, quick, and then the third one where we're talking about campaign automation will be a little bit more in depth. With that being said, I'm just going to jump straight into the content. So if you're like me and most people, when you wake up in the morning, one of the first things you're going to do is check your email, whether you're eating your breakfast or just getting ready to start your day, whatever that may be. So what I've got up on the screen right now is just an image of my phone with a couple of, obviously sample emails queued up here that I've received, overnight. And so the question becomes, what do I do with these emails inside of Microsoft Dynamics 365, and how do I process those? Can I go ahead and get started on it, or do I got to wait until I get into the office and sit at my desk? And the answer here is that Microsoft's integrated all of these softwares together very, very well on the mobile application. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to process these 2 emails inside of the CRM system. All right, so I'm just going to choose the bottom one first, and this is just a a very simple email, just from a guy named Jeffrey Strobel, and I'm not even sure if I'm saying his name correctly. He's the CFO at some company that I chose, so that I could show you guys what this looks like. But I have this email from him, and I don't know much about this guy, right? But because of the integration, I can go in and I can look inside of Dynamics 365, and this is just going to actually look inside of my live database and inside of Microsoft's cloud, and I can see that Jeffrey's actually a chief technology officer, and I can track this email here, and I can go in and see more information about it. So I'm just going to go ahead and track that this email has been sent, and it's going to send me, put that email into our CRM system. Okay, so very simple, right? When I go into the CRM system, when I get to my office, it's already going to be there. All right, so I'm going to do the same thing with the second one, and this one is from me, right? So same deal, just go into Dynamics 365. And this one has a little bit more information about it. I can actually see, actually it has a little bit less information, I'm sorry. So I'm actually going to create a brand new record inside of our CRM system, whether it's a contact or a lead. I'm just going to say this is a new lead. Okay. It's going to ask me some basic information, what did they want? And this person was interested in Tenerife, which is the Dynamics 365 Financials future release. It's a cloud version of NAV that's slated to release in a couple of months. So I'm just going to put in here, interested in the 365. I'll just leave it at that. And there's a lot more information you can fill in, but I'm on my phone, so I don't want to do a ton of data entry on my phone. So I'm just going to save it and be done. Okay. So what you can see here, as I promoted that contact, the email that had come in, as I promoted that to a lead in our system, it added some new fields up here at the top. I know you can't see where my finger's pointing right now, but I'm pointing at these fields up at the top where it says regarding the lead, and I'm just going to go ahead and click on them. What that's going to do is it's actually going to bring me right into the mobile app for CRM. Okay, so now I'm inside of that Matthew Fonts lead that I just created, and I can just swipe across here, and I can see different information in the system. Okay, there's different stakeholders, if there's different competitors, and I just created this, so there's none of that information's in here yet. So it's very easy to do, right? I can see up at the top right now in the business process ribbon, where it says qualify, that this lead is currently in the qualification stage. All right, so generally when you're in a marketing process, you're not going to get much far beyond a marketing qualification. Once it's in the development, when you're trying to create a proposal and give a quote to a customer, that's going to be in the sales presentation. So we'll cover that process next month in the day of the life of the salesperson, but that's what this means up at the top where it currently says qualify. All right. So again, very simple stuff, things that you can get done before you go to work. Maybe you're sitting at a stoplight, even something silly like that. All right, that's really it for the first scene. You can pause here and see if there's any questions.
We do not have any questions at this time.
Okay.
And we're not promoting texting and driving, but you can be productive if you need to be.
At a stoplight. All right. So the next thing I want to go through, we're done with the phone here, so I'm going to go ahead and close this. And I'm just going to go ahead and open up the web version of D365. All right, and everything that you work on in a day-to-day basis is right here. So up there in the top left, I can click this. I can see my email. I can see my calendar. I can see my SharePoint. I can see my OneNote. Any of my documents that I'm currently working on. It's all right here up in the top left. Primarily, we're going to be working, using Dynamics 365 Sales today, but you'll see kind of hooks into some of the other products. All right, so if I go into my mail application, you'll see that same email that I received on my phone, and we'll see some of that same information that we just processed. All right, get this over to the side. There you go. All right. So that same hooks that we were seeing on my Outlook application on the phone, it's the same information that I'm seeing inside of Outlook in the browser. All right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some of the information that we can discover about these companies and these people that are emailing in. from directly inside of Dynamics 365 for sales. All right, so I'm just going to go back to Dynamics 365. And I'm going to go inside of our custom app here, which is the one we're using for our demo today. I'm just going to go into our leads list. Here it comes. So it's opening our current open leads, and we're going to see that there's a few of them in here that need to be worked. All right. So what an open lead is that's a lead that has not yet been qualified or disqualified. Right. So if I get some contact information from a trade show, if I import some contacts from a list that I've purchased, if some of them come into an integration on our website, maybe we have a web form that's capturing lead information, all of that's going to land in here inside of your open leads. And there's different views inside of CRM, right? So if I'm looking at my open leads, those are the ones that have not yet been processed. Closed leads are the ones that have been processed. So these are, we have some in here that have been qualified. We have some of them that have been disqualified. But the idea is to only have a relatively short list, ones that need to be worked inside of your open leads. And I'm just going to pick one and show you some of the information that's available. So I'll choose this Jeffrey Strobel, even though I'm not sure I'm saying his name correctly. And it'll tell us some of the information about Jeffrey. All right, so I can see inside of the insight sections loading over here on the right, it's going to load some information about this person. And it's pulling it from several databases, Reuters, some of those publicly available databases. It's just kind of aggregating it here in a simple view. All right, so I can see some of the news that's current about Jeffrey's business, which I'm sure you can see at this point is Tesla. I can see some of the key contacts at the organization. And as I go across here and go across these tabs, I can see some information about the actual industry, revenue, profit, operating expense. And this is very easy information to find on your own because it's Tesla. But if it was another organization that you didn't know as much about, then it does a pretty good job at pulling from a lot of different data sources and aggregating here. All right, so I'm going through and I'm learning more about this lead. I think it's a pretty good one. We certainly don't want to disqualify it. I don't know if it's fully qualified yet, but I'd like to bring in one of my salespeople at this point to reach out to the lead. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click over here on this start a conversation, and I'm just going to create a task. All right. And what I'm doing is I'm just creating a task, and I'm going to assign this to our sales team. I don't remember what I named the team.
New sales team, I believe.
Yeah, new sales team. Thank you, Jonathan. All right, so I'm just going to save this. And then when Jonathan, again, we'll go through a lot more of this next month, but when Jonathan now goes into his queue, when he logs into CRM and he's looking at his open activities, he's going to see that as an activity that has not been completed. He needs to call Jeffrey and just get a deeper qualification. So I'm going to go through now, and I want to create some notes about this lead. And one good thing about D365 is the integration to OneNote, which is becoming kind of the industry standard. We use it internally for really all of our notes. The integration to OneNote is pretty complete. All right. So, and the nice thing about that is that instead of having people keeping different copies of notes, whether you have the marketing notes in one location, you have your sales notes in another location, and you have your service notes in yet a third location, you can put all of your notes inside of OneNote and tied to this record. And that can be the master record, the record of truth. And I can just drill into here and create a link directly for us. So these are brand new notes that I'm going to go and take about Jeffrey. He came in via a custom form and some keywords for D365. And then I can see in here, Jonathan's already put in some notes about how he's going to follow up with Jeffrey, tomorrow. All right. Now, whoever goes into this account in the future, whether it's, if we sell the business and somebody from service comes in and they want to see, well, what did sales promise this guy, or what did sales talk about with Jeffrey? This information will just be there. It's there forever. All right. And now I've gone through and I've done my marketing qualification, which is not a full qualification, but it's a partial qualification. And I want to go ahead and start some automation. I want to start sending this guy some of our assets. I've determined that he's into manufacturing. His business is a manufacturing specific business. and I wanted to start sending him some assets, all right? So the way to do that is using the campaign automation that's built into CRM. And this is the third scene, but just kind of wrapping up this marketing qualification. What I'll do in order to start him on some manufacturing nurturing is just add him to this manufacturing nurture list, right? And what that's going to do, and again, in the third scene, we'll go into this in more depth, but it's going to add him into the drip campaign that is manufacturing specific. So he'll get an email, and then a couple weeks later he'll get another email, and then a couple of weeks later he'll get another email, and those emails are going to look like they're coming, from Jonathan or from whatever salesperson is assigned to, that lead. Okay, so that's kind of the end of my second scene, and I'll pause again to see if there's any questions.
Got a question here. So the Insights solution, is that an additional subscription? And I can actually take that question. It's a plugin that's available for CRM. There's no extra cost for it. There is some configuration that, if you're tech savvy, you could probably do on your own, or we could certainly assist with setting that up as well. But a free plugin is the short answer. Let's see. And that's all the questions we have. But keep them coming in if you do have more questions.
Okay. Now, the third scene is my favorite because it's a little bit more in depth, and it's actually creating some campaign automation. All right, so kind of using Jonathan's example from earlier, every year we have our annual Vision customer event where we invite our customers and our prospects and our leads to come spend some time with us. And this year it's in Charlotte, and it's in April?
Yep,
April 26th. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and create the campaign and the automation that goes along with marketing that Vision event. All right, so under our marketing module still, I'm going to go into our campaigns, and I think I've already preloaded a lot of this data. So we have our Vision 2018 campaign. It's very easy to create. You just hit new, and then it automatically assigns a campaign code. All right, now really all the campaign is going to do for us in CRM and Dynamics 365 for sales is be a container. It's going to hold on to leads that are generated from a campaign. It's going to store campaign responses. It's going to aggregate lists, and it's going to kind of show us how much money we're spending versus how much money we're making. All right, so nothing earth-shattering there. In this case, all we're going to use this for is just the record. All right, I want to show you that you can create the campaign, and then I'm going to show you how the automation attaches to that campaign. All right, so I'm going to go back into the marketing module, and I'm going to go look under first marketing lists. And you can see here that I created a Vision 2018 marketing list. And these are what a list is it's just a grouping of people. And a person could either be a lead, a contact, or an account. In this case, we're marketing it to leads. So I've got a Vision 2018 marketing list. If I open this up, we're going to see that it's already got a few members in it. But it doesn't have me in it. Remember, we created me as a new person earlier when we promoted me for my Outlook client. So I'm going to go ahead and add myself because I want to be included in this. All right. And these lists are interesting because they can be static, and that's what we're looking at right now, where we're manually going in and adding these people. But they can also be dynamic. So like if you wanted to have a list that included every person attached to an account with a certain SIC code, then you could have a dynamic marketing list that pulls in people based on that industry. In this case, I wanted to keep it really simple because that's not really what I want to show. I really want to show the campaign automation, but the marketing list is a component of that campaign automation. All right. So the next thing that goes into our campaign automation is what are we going to send them, right? So in that case, we've got to have some emails, right? So in our Vision drip campaign, I want to send 3 emails. I want to send the initial email that just tells them a little bit about the event. I want to send a reminder email when we get closer to the event, and then I want to send a follow-up email that just get some feedback on how people thought the event went, and it's going to include a survey that just says rate the event and what would you change, that type of information. So these are the emails, and I've already created them so that I can show you quickly what it looks like in the campaign automation. And I also mentioned that there's a survey, and so the survey is also configurable inside of Dynamics 365, and it's under this web content area. So I can just pull up the Vision survey, and I've already pre-populated a couple of questions because I'm trying to keep this relatively quick. But if I pull this up and I go into the designer, I can see what the survey looks like. and I'll show you how easy it is to add additional questions. And this does take a second to load. Again, we're doing a live demo here. So, all right. So we got a couple questions already on here. I can just go into one. How would you rate Vision 2018 from 1 to 10? I can say whether or not the field is required, and I can change the formatting a little bit, whether I want it to be a wider one, whether I want it to be have some lines or whatever in the layout of the survey. And then the second question, real simple, what would you change for future years? So I can go in here and now I can actually preview the survey. Again, this is the survey that's going to go out to our attendees. So after they attend Vision, I want to send this out to them, and I could include a lot more information, but this is just a simple example. You can mark this, you can enter your information and submit it. Okay. So the last thing in the campaign automation is the actual logic that goes along with the automation. And so we've got 4 different components that we're going to include in that logic. We have the campaign that we created, we have the marketing list that we created, we've got the email templates that we created, and then we've got our survey, and all of those are going to go into our campaign automation. All right, so under our marketing module here, I'm going to go into campaign automation. I'm just going to pull the Vision automation open. Okay, and we'll take a look at the builder. Here we go. All right, so as we're looking at this flow, and again, I already defined a lot of this because I knew we would be kind of short on time, but this first element that I'm mousing over is the trigger element. So I click on Vision 2018, and it says whenever anybody is added to that marketing list, it's going to start this campaign automation. All right. So earlier when I said I wanted to send off some assets to Jeffrey for manufacturing, when I added him to that list, that's what actually started the campaign automation, because I had a trigger for somebody being added to this list. All right. So, and this is all just drag and drop. I can move these arrows around. I can create new events. I can create new triggers. And just the green arrow means that's what's going to happen next. All right. So as soon as somebody's added to this this campaign automation, the first thing it's going to do is it's going to send that initial email from our Vision initial email template, and then it's going to wait for a particular date. Okay, and in this case, the date is January 29th, and then it's going to send another email. Vision is soon. Sign up now. And it's going to wait until after the event is complete. And it just occurred to me that this date probably should be after the event is actually complete, which is what,
26, so go, yeah.
So the 27th. And then it's just going to send this Vision follow-up. All right. So the neat thing about this, I can set all this up at the beginning of my campaign. Even if this event is 6 months out, I can set up all the logic, and I'm done. Right. This stuff is just going to work. I don't have to go and remind myself or put appointments on my calendar that says on this particular day, send the first email, on this particular day, send the second email. It's just done. All right. And that's a pretty simple example, but you can get pretty advanced with it. You can have examples like if I send an email and they click on a particular link, I want to maybe I want to assign it to a salesperson because they showed interest in that link, or maybe if they click on a link, I want to send them another asset in 3 days. You can get very advanced with it, but most of the time, if your business is like ours, these things are relatively simple. You want to automate notifications for an event, and that's exactly what I've done here. And that sums up my third scene. Yeah, that's everything. So I'll hand it back over to Jonathan.
Yeah, and actually just sort of a question that you just answered there, Matt, is the being able to have, I guess, the triggers can lead somebody on a different path. What we had just looked at was one linear path, but you could splinter that out and have different routes depending on the interactions that folks take. Correct?
Yeah, very, very much so. You can do the if this, then that type decision matrix. You can set all those up. Somebody opens an email, you can do something. And again, opening of an email in marketing is somewhat subjective, because what it does is it attaches a tracking token, and if the person downloads that tracking token, it can tell they opened it. But mostly the only real actionable things, we know for sure that they clicked a link, because the link has been modified so that it knows it's clicked. So it's going through a proxy, and I can tell that link has definitely been clicked. I can tell for sure that it's been delivered, or more accurately, I can tell if it has bounced. I guess I can't tell 100% accurately that it's been delivered. Generally, it's pretty accurate. I can tell that it's been delivered. But so if somebody clicks a link, if somebody replies to an email, if somebody, I guess really those two things, I can make decisions based on that information. And I can also do things based on other fields that are filled out in CRM. So if they filled out that they were interested in manufacturing, then I could have an automation that just says make sure to include these assets in the email that I send. If they're interested in professional services, then I could query that field and say make sure to include some professional services assets. So it's very configurable.
Awesome. And no more questions for now. I'll go ahead and take back over and just finish up with a few slides to just cover pricing, because we generally do have questions about that. Now, we've shown several different components and applications throughout the presentation today. So just as a generic pricing setup for the core applications of the Dynamics 365 Customer Engagement Suite, which would include your sales, customer service, field service, and project service automation. That's what I mean by customer engagement. But an individual user access to, a user access to an individual app, is $95 per month. And if a user needs access to multiple apps, it's $115 for what they're calling a plan. And then if it's somebody that just needs limited or read-only access to the system, those are team member users, and they're only $10 a month. So not a bad bargain for those folks. Something we want to always mention as far as just some pricing options are some SMB or small medium business special offers that we have available through us as a tier 1 CSP. So for just the sales app, $40 per user per month, but there is a maximum 25-seat caveat on that. And then for sales and customer service, which again we'll be showing the customer service app more in detail in 2 months from now. But there's a discounted rate for that sort of bundled plan. And then the team member users even get a discount on them as well. But again, that's a limited time offer, so call us now. And just to give a broad view of the implementation costs, this is, there's no tried and true method here. It's sort of just wanted to give people an idea of the 3 different sort of buckets that folks normally fall into when we're working with them. So, some people, they have folks that are CRM administrators and they just want a couple of days of training. Then we have sort of that middle of the road where there's a fair amount of setup and configuration needed, maybe a week to a couple of weeks worth of time. And then there's, more complex implementations that we do that are going to, have some customization, integrations with other systems. Maybe it's, a larger organization that has folks located across the country, things like that. So again, people sort of fall on the mix here, but we do these implementations specialized to the client's requirements. And to wrap up, to reach out to us, you can either give us a call at 704-846-6750 or shoot us an email if you prefer at info@enterdyneartist.com. We also welcome you to reach out to us on our website. We've got a lot of good material out there. You can also sign up for other webinars, and we also post recorded webinars on our website, and you can always find it there. So we appreciate everyone's time, and we'll hold on the line for just a couple minutes longer to make sure that there's any questions. We can address those, but definitely feel free to follow up with us after the fact, and we can speak one-on-one as well.